Hey, what's up guys, it's Oakley, and we're going to be playing, no, I was about to say Shogun 2, no, this is obviously Empire Total War. I am going to be playing here as the 13 colonies of the United States, and my ally is going to be over there playing as Prussia, where I'm going to be facing off against the United Provinces and Great Britain over there. So let's go over my build. I brought 4 of these long rifles. If you guys aren't familiar, these are kind of like frontiersman type troops, excellent skirmishers, and they can walk while hidden, which is super handy dandy. Then I have actually another skirmisher troop right here. This is sort of an elite unit, Morgan's Provisional Rifle Corps. So I don't know too much of the history of these guys, but I know they are pretty cool. And that's something you can have with the American units actually, is they have a couple nicely named regiments, sort of like this unique unit. Minutemen, militia, just to be meat shields in the front to back up my skirmishers if they need to fall back to something. Then I have line infantry in the rear. My light dragoons are just up scouting, but you can see how many enemy light dragoons, a whole bunch. Holy crap. Is that 7 light dragoons? Those are very scary. They can shoot while marching. And yeah, so my right wing I've gone very light. Skirmishers, light militia, minutemen, and some line infantry. Now where I'm mostly going to be pushing is going to be 4 line infantry there, and then here 2 legions of the United States in the rear. So my idea is, tango with my opponent over on the right. Let's put this in slow motion. I did hear your feedback. You guys want me to use slow motion as opposed to pause, so we'll be doing that. Try and do that more. So light dragoons still circling around, but mostly I want to hit like a hammer on the left and just be sort of a soft, slow progression. Over here I did get the drop on my opponent because, like I said, these guys could move forward on the march. While hidden, my opponent didn't see actually how close I was, and so I now get a devastating volley on his front ranks with a bunch of my men. He's going to start to form up and try and return fire, but in these skirmisher engagements like this, if you get the first volley, it can be pretty devastating, because then the next volley, he only can answer with so many men. But still, he has, double team against one of my long riflemen. Those guys are down to 40 guys. That's why I'm bringing light dragoons here. My opponent does have some line infantry in the rear to try and, force the issue. But then I'm going to be pulling in my own light dragoons before his line can get in close. And the goal of these guys is just to help with some supporting fire, even out the numbers between some volleys. I'll take a look at those guys. 58 men before that volley and killed 7 of them in that volley, and I'm going to boogie on out of there. So just helping to even the odds for my long rifleman. Over here where he had 2 versus 1 numbers, I pulled up some militia just to scare his guys away. My opponent is going to be repositioning his light dragoons, some of them to match me. So wherever I feel the pressure is too heavy, I'm going to pull in with some militia infantry. What you'll find your opponents like to do a lot of the time is charge you all out with these light dragoons, threaten you, force you into square, and then all out shoot you. So it's pretty dangerous. That's why I had, cavalry in my rear. So you're going to see my guys kind of shadowing the enemy forces. I'm going to be unleashing on his cav from the flank, layering my forces in depth, line infantry there to guard my guys, allow them to reform. And yeah, I'm just getting a lot of damage done to him. Over here he's going to be sweeping in with some light dragoons. He's going to get the drop on my elite Morgan's Provincial Rifle Corps, which is not good, but I do have some reinforcing line infantry. We're now going to be sounding the orders, and yeah, he's going to unleash with some volleys on me. My guys weren't properly drilled to fire in time to save my men, so they're going to get absolutely destroyed. But in the meantime, I'm going to get some counter volleys on him and hopefully give pursuit to some of my own light dragoons. So it's a lot of back and forth in very close quarters. Definitely some very frightful positions to be in if you're my guys. And this is why you bring cheap meat shield units. You can see Minutemen and militia units holding back the entirety of my opponent's wing, which has a lot of cavalry, a lot of infantry. That's pretty scary. These guys are going to be sacrificed to allow the rest of my guys to reform and start to see what they can do. So mostly I notice my opponent is weaker on this front, so I hope to push that with my rifles, but he has some pretty extreme range, pretty good quality riflemen as well. So, he's going to start slowly backing up, some line infantry here. And in the rear, he's going to have some of his mounted rifles. That is always a devastating combo. So I'm going to be pulling back to my lines, trying to hold steady on that side, but slowly falling back. He's got a lot of guns that he can bring to bear, but so do I. So I'm slowly losing actually some of the extremities of my force. Let's go ahead and watch what is going on over here. Again, slow motion, just so you guys don't miss anything. Great Britain is moving forward. It's going to be a pretty traditional fight. So green jackets in the front. Looks like they actually, my ally came here and staked this front up. So yeah, it's going to be a traditional fight with green jackets in the front, line infantry in the rear, and then light dragoons, waiting for opportunities to strike. So pretty standard fight here, nothing too much of interest. Over here is where we're going to be having a little bit more of a dynamic engagement. Let's go back on play. So here's the triple line that you'll see: standard riflemen to get some shots off, Swiss infantry and all that, and then cavalry in the back. I'm going to be trying to do the same to pick off my enemy's forces. He's doing a lot of damage with these riflemen. I'm not sure actually if the stats are superior, but number-wise, I mean, he's starting to get the edge on me, I guess, my guys, and he's maneuvered himself all the way up into the flank, so I'm having a hard time pushing against my opponent. Looks like he actually ended up, yeah, I think there's a glitch actually where you can see my guys are out of range. However, if your opponent starts shooting at you, there's a glitch, I believe, that basically allows units like this to keep shooting at you when you're out of range, so it's unfortunate. My opponent is going to continue to be able to just ping away at my guys. It could be that glitch, or perhaps I'm misremembering the inherent range with these riflemen, but yeah, he's doing a lot of damage to my long rifles. He's forcing me back just because of the extreme range, and I can't really get close to this because with sheer numbers like this and light dragoons, those guys can just come up and swallow your forces. I'm going to redeploy 2 of my line infantry to the right, stake up in the front, and then just start pulling back. You can see, yeah, these guys definitely continuing to shoot my men from a while. That's definitely the glitch in action. There's no way they can shoot me from there in normal conditions. But yeah, big lines of these light dragoons. Kind of the go-to cavalry unit for this game, if you haven't figured it out already. I'm going to be matching with some of my own light dragoons and having to fall back because of his extreme range guys. I am going to leave some of my remaining Oregon's Provincial Rifle Corps, and I'm noticing that he's getting kind of spread out thin right here, so I'm going to try and engage. He is also going to come in and engage with his cav, so let's again watch from the perspective of some of my line infantry, see if they can handle this. And it looks like this time we get the drop on the enemy cav, going to be just taking chunks out of those units, but now here comes the blistering return fire. Let's watch my guys. They're at 120 men. And they can do a lot of damage. I mean, look at that. 3 units like this, and they're down to 86 men. Back that up with the movement of the Swiss infantry, and you get some really potent combinations going on here. Yes, his cavalry has taken a pretty heavy beating, but now he's got his Swiss infantry in position against my own guys. I'm trying to do the same with my cavalry to even the odds to knock out those Swiss infantry, so it's kind of working. I'm going to pull my guys on out of there. Over on the right, I'm abandoning most of my attempts to move around the flank there and just leave skirmishers with some line infantry guards and try and shuffle more over here. On this front, like I said, you're not missing much. It's basically a back and forth exchange. Some superior line infantry not being used well at all. My ally perhaps not playing the best. He's moving his guys in big clusters, so yeah, it's not going to go well for us on that front. Now over here, I'm going to be exchanging with this Swiss infantry relatively well. I do get the drop on my opponent, and now I'm going to try and chase after him. So you can see it's a lot of this back and forth within these positions, trying to get the advantage we can. My Minutemen here are going to be kind of swung into position here to absorb the fire of his guys, allow me to perhaps put more pressure on the right and more pressure on the left. Here I'm getting a lot of fire on his Swiss infantry, especially with my line infantry here. Just waiting to get some more shots, and this is the opportunistic strikes that you can get with your cav. You can see me launching strikes here, getting right into his Swiss infantry. He's going to be focusing fire with all the rest of his men into my guys. It's going to destroy them, but again, it's going to be enough reprieve for my guys to, you know, then answer volleys against his guys. So sacrificial unit there to break up my enemy's forces, allow the Legion of the United States to move up. Going pretty well. And here, Minutemen thrown into the meat grinder of a fight. Holding up, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units right there at the corner of my force as I try and push back here. You can see it did enough to ward off my opponent. We're going to break this Swiss infantry. I'm going to be pushing on the left flank, coming in here with my light dragoons. And we should be getting some shots off. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go, some final volleys. And light dragoons can also engage mano a mano. So you can see there I tied his guys down. Going to be moving in with my light dragoons here, and I really want to break this flank over on the right. I was able to launch punitive strikes with my light dragoons. Slow motion once more. Break some of his skirmishers, because I know if I can break his skirmishers, then I can kite his guys all day. So opportunistically delaying my opponent right there. Minutemen, again, holding up 5 units, and then I push the flanks where I have more numbers. I'm bringing in all his cavalry together in one place, and then cleaning them up with the remainder of my cav. So something that I tend to do a lot in my games is tie up multiple enemy units with just one force like that. You'll find a lot of times in Total War people just like to spam that attack order, get in there. You can tie up multiple units with one light dragoon, and then hold units, the remainder of your units, instead of throwing them immediately into the fight, reposition, especially in games like Rome 2, where you have precursor javelins. I would even do this type of formation, with heavy infantry. And now you can see here, this wing is starting to go in my favor. Sorry, let's get a shot of my guys trying to kill the enemy as they run away. Again, the beautiful uniforms of the Legion of the United States. So you can see I've won the left here. Took out the enemy light dragoons. So they had 7 before. Now they have essentially just 2 half units remaining left. I'm trying to bait them into engagement on the left as I'm dealing with the Swiss infantry. I'm going to try and pull them into the line of fire of my Legion of the United States. So my opponent getting a bit desperate with his cav to secure the flank, but he is doing a good amount of damage. You can see there he gets a shot off against my guys as they were trying to disengage. And here, Great Britain does send in some of his own light dragoons. At this point, I was imploring that my ally send all his cav that's not doing anything. I was, spamming him, send your cav my way. I'm getting just like obliterated by 2 teams worth of cavalry here. So just when I thought I could turn the tide and win this fight, the Great Britain sends over 2 full light dragoon units and starts destroying me. Meanwhile, my ally not budging at all. I'm peeling away cavalry. This is the time for him to move forward and engage. He should be destroying that, but alas, he's not. Over on the right, I've been ping-ponging around with my cav, bringing in his light infantry, doing damage to them. He is getting relatively close to my long rifles, so he's going to start to apply the pressure directly, bringing in some cav from the rear who have reformed along with the general, so that's going to be pretty deadly. But I do still have a pretty good amount of legions and line infantry here. So we'll go ahead and watch the action on the left. I'm trying to pick off the remainder of these light dragoons. They're going to charge straight into my men, which is a good move. It's going to catch me by surprise before I can form into square, and before I could even get some volleys off against these healthy light dragoons. My general's going to have to pull out of there. Meanwhile, there's a push up through the center. Very, very strong push. My general here caught in a tricky position. He's going to try and scoot on out of there, and yep, these redcoats right here going to unleash, get some payback on the Americans. Perhaps we can say this is the War of 1812 or something scenario where the British are back with the vengeance. And now he's going to charge my guys up. I tried to engage them just to tie them down to allow my line infantry here to shoot them up. I wanted to, keep these guys from running away. And I'm going to try and shoot them as soon as possible. I've just got small little meager units left over, just enough to ward those guys off. I can't really form up in the square, so pretty big threat. Over on this front, he's pushing with his remaining cav, and he's starting to break my long rifles. So I'm having to do a lot of kiting here. All the while, his guys, line infantry, he's got 2 line infantry. Meanwhile, I can't really answer anything like that. So in a skirmishing fight, he still has a lot of these riflemen left. So I am desperately in the chat calling for my ally to send something my way. I've had to deal with this full force plus, quarter of these units here, just destroying what forces that I would have otherwise used to turn the entire flank here. So because my ally's not reinforcing me, I've been robbed of the opportunity to seize the initiative on the flank that I was, threw a lot of men into to win that fight. And this is late game, a very scary sight. When you see skirmishers put together like this, that is not a good sight to see. So I'm going to try and, deal death to his guys before they can reload. He's going to get some shots off with his line infantry. And there we go. I closed the ranks. I was hoping to just, equalize some of these numbers, tie them up, and now is going to be the counter assault from my guys, trying to charge them. My general, even over here, trying to ward off these guys. It's not really working. My ally continuing to just pull back and not send any reinforcements. Somehow he's scared of 3 British units, whereas he himself has, 4 and 2 cav. He's seeing all these guys thrown my way, and he pulls back. So I was... you guys have noticed this. I tend to get screwed over when it comes to allies. It's never really fun. And here comes another light dragoon unit. Just when I thought I had, these guys sequestered off and had them where I wanted them, then another one comes in and just starts shooting my guys in the back. I'm forced to redeploy. And yeah, my flank is totally in a bad way. Let's see what's happening over here. Looks like my ally has lost the skirmisher fight, and now he's just drawing himself out into thin, long lines, not really being able to answer this. Meanwhile, this Great Britain player, happy to stand here. I really hope he scoots his light dragoons forward just an inch, so at least we get a little bit of damage done there. But yeah, my ally not taking advantage at all of the flank here that's been stripped of cavalry. And now I'm going to be overwhelmed on this flank. lost that. I'm going to be trying to continue to kite here against these units of the United Province. But yeah, it's not going well. Again, in the face of these guys, I'm forced to pull back because point blank he's going to deal a lot of damage to me. I'm hoping to get out of there in time, slowly retreat my my ranks, form up in a position where maybe I can win. So there you go. Clean up this Swiss infantry unit here, which is allowing me to, okay, maybe perhaps secure the flank. Immediately, this big group of riflemen is going to turn about. And let's hope they don't have any shots. So some of them do, but I'm going to try and just pull out of there. So it's all-out retreat. My opponent still has some cavalry left, which is going to be devastating. You know, cavalry in the late game like this is very, very scary. And look, they're even going to get some shots off. Kill 5-6 men, charge right into my guys. Yeah. Follow that up with infantry charges. That is how it's done for cleaning up operations. So that's kind of it for my guys. I committed my general to the fight just to hope to reduce the number of units on Great Britain's side. Tie up these cav. But he looks like he's turning them all about to try and snipe my general. My general is going to retreat back into the safety, relative safety I should put it, of my line infantry here. But behind them, I mean, not really anywhere for me to go at this point, so I've been whittled away. Great Britain is going to retreat back to his side of the battlefield where still nothing much going on. Cavalry pulled out away from those stakes, so you know that last little ember of hope I had did not work. Prussia on my side continuing to not do much. He's going to congregate his cav just to match the enemy cav, but still not doing anything with these dragoons. He has one remaining Jaeger unit, and he's going to try and move up here. Oh man, depleted superior line infantry. And look at this, lockstep. British units are going to move up in perfect position right behind the skirmishers. And yeah, he's even going to get the first volley off. This is not going well for us. These line infantry, I don't know why he's telling them don't give movement orders that close. It means you're going to miss the first volley, and by the time you get there, you know, you're going to get enemy reinforcements, all of them targeting you. Let's watch a little bit of this at least. Oh god, and plus these guys are in platoon fire. Oh no. And I say oh no because it's going to be a while for them to fire all along the line. Meanwhile, you have these guys reloading. There you go. Boom. Just destroying so many numbers. Over here, the end is nigh for my remaining line infantry. Looks like my general was still alive. He was used to break some of these units. It's going to be a general versus general fight over on this side. See if we can't watch the two generals. So it looks like my general here, taken by two men, and there he gets dehorsed. I was hoping to take this enemy general, but he's a total badass. Killed the last remaining guy right here. And then he's going to go ahead and lead the rest of his men to break the last of my line infantry there. It looks like I've lost basically everything. So now, if it wasn't bad enough for Prussia already, you have the remaining force of the United Provinces going to be bearing down on his flank. And again, his units not having moved. And good God. Oh man, this is bad. So cavalry, like I said, useful. Hide them in the back lines, bring them up close to get some shots off when the enemy is reloading, and then when the opportunity strikes, you know, launch in melee combat. And that's exactly what he's done here. Punched holes in the opponent. The Prussian light dragoons are going to try and respond to this. I don't quite know what they're doing. They're moving up in long, thin lines. Got a couple shots off. So, okay, he's equalizing that out a bit. But yeah, this is not good. These guys parking themselves literally behind. This is the weirdest position for these light dragoons to be in. Yeah, they're going to be completely sandwiched. They did break enemy light dragoons. But yeah, it's not looking good. And now you're going to have a countercharge into here. Let's watch this line as it gets totally thrashed from the side. Again, that scary, scary, scary skirmishing blob over in the distance in the late game, able to pick apart anything. And I don't know why you would ever present your flank to that, because every shot that you miss, I mean, take a look at what you're shooting at. If you get a shot down range vaguely in that direction, you overshoot a little bit, and it's guaranteed to hit someone. And so you can see that line right there just getting chewed apart. And look at all these shots as they go through. Yeah, that is absurd. It's hard not to, I mean, maybe even get collaterals and multiple headshots. I don't know. I don't think this game allows you to do that. But yeah, if this was real life, I mean, roll up a cannon, why not? and just get some shots, canister shots right through there. So yeah, Prussian player getting eaten alive on this side here. He still has some of his light dragoons and some of his line infantry, and yes, some of the Prussian Jaeger is still alive. He's going to be finally doing some counter assaults, cleaning up these green jackets, so there is hope perhaps at last that we can at least win one flank. Oh, and looks like he was using grenadiers. Where are those guys? Ah, attacking from the flank. Interesting. You actually never really see grenadiers in the game, at least in multiplayer, I mean, because to get these grenades to be useful, I mean, you have to get point-blank range, and in this game, you're never really point-blank range, and even when you do, I mean, it didn't do that much damage. Plus, I think just the deciding factor is these guys are 60 men, so one volley or one cavalry's charge, and these guys are done for. So for their cost, they're just not worth it, which is why you never really see them get fielded. And again, you see why these light dragoons are always brought in multiplayer. Super handy. You run them around, clean up enemy forces when they're out of position, charge. And just like the remaining skirmishers in the late game, remaining light dragoons in the late game, super deadly. Charging en masse into these guys. And I think all we have left is these 3 light dragoons and a Prussian Jaeger. The line here is going to try and redeploy in the face of, ooh, this is cool, King's Royal Regiment of New York. Let's watch this. Some nice uniforms. The forces of Great Britain trying to keep up with the Prussian forces who are now going to be retreating. They were able to sort of retreat and ward away some of these light dragoons, push them to the flank, and they're coming back and sandwich this line infantry, which is still, I mean, in thin formation like this, getting nice shots on these light dragoons, really stripping away any mobility that Prussia might have left. If I were this Prussian player, I mean, go ahead and charge this unit. It's long, thin lines. If he forms up into square, shoot him in the back with these line infantry. Doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. He did, however, wrap up the light dragoons from Great Britain, so good job on that part. But now you're going to have to face a lot of line infantry, and there's no way you can even get into a shooting out battle with those guys. He's going to attempt to, nonetheless, I think, wrap around the flank. Or maybe he's charging after those. Nope, looks like he's getting around the flank. Okay, cool. So at this point, I would just stop running. You're not really going to get anywhere. I mean, maybe pull up these Prussian Jaegers to help out, but he's going to continue. I mean, in the way he's running away, he's just going to expose himself to some shots. No, actually, it looks like he was able to scoot out of there in time. Lucky for him, but he is going to be, you know, have units hot in pursuit. Jaegers getting a couple shots off. You can see a man dropping here and there, but it's not going to be enough. I'm just going to trail these units as they start to move up into position to deal with the last remaining Prussian force. And Army of United Provinces moving up. These riflemen are going to be the killer once they get in range. Looks like there's been a cavalry engagement on the flank. Prussia deciding that it is most important. No, not even cavalry engagement. He's going to chase down some retreating units. But this King's Royal Regiment of New York is going to be tasked with isolating those light dragoons, guarding the flank, while we're going to get an infantry charge up through the center. Let's actually watch this nice engagement here. It looks like finally my ally is going to be the first to get a volley off. So that is going to be definitely helping him out, helping his odds. Oh, it looks like we're going to get multiple ranks firing. So there you go. Good way to even the odds here. So we might be able to do okay here. The United Province Force still having trouble wheeling around. They're very tired from, I mean, they ran from all the way on that side. And here we go, finally, the nice flank from the light dragoons. He did a good job of moving those guys away. And now he's going to position himself in such a way. Come on, give attack orders, give attack orders. Don't stand there, don't stand there. Oh, God, this is going to be bad. Well, at least, no, what are you doing? Charge! You have the perfect flank. Oh, God. Oh, God. What? Okay. I don't know. Oh, God, and these guys turned around, too. He had the perfect opportunity to charge these guys in the rear. Charge those guys in the rear. Finally break that. Maybe have some cavalry left that he could have then, circled around, took out these riflemen. It would have been a long shot, but still, he squandered a huge opportunity right there. And then the King's Royal Regiment of New York is going to turn around and just unleash on these cavalry. And that, you can kiss your cavalry goodbye now, my dear ally. He has one left. And finally, it looks like we're barely going to start to break this one unit, but it is holding steadfast in the face of all these shots. I don't know how they're still holding in there. But now finally it looks like these guys should all be reloaded. Yeah, there you go. They're going to get some nice volleys on the flank. Let's watch the British line. Third rank. Boom. So there you go. We've lost our line infantry. We do have a little bit of a flank, but this is not a flank. This is more like moving yourself between two units. And it looks like the Kingswar Regiment is going to be charging these guys just to interrupt any... Oh no, he's going to line himself up right behind them. Tap them on the back. Kind of want to witness this. Whew. Better count yourself lucky if you're in that regiment that these guys have not reloaded just yet. I mean, this is where I would call a bayonet charge. Easiest mop-up operation you've ever seen. And at this point, I think this unit is more at a risk of being, friendly fired than anything. The rest of the Prussian forces are running. And I just want to watch this point-blank shot. Alright, here we go. Oh my god. Kneel. What the hell? It's surprising, these guys... Oh, there we go. Even the captain getting some shots off with his little pistol. And breaking. There we go. There goes the second rank. I was hoping that would have happened earlier. And that was it. So just destroying my opponent here. And some guys some of you have noticed that when it says my name twice, that's because my ally disconnected. So at the end here, he was still playing, but I think in the last couple of seconds he quit. Some of the moves he was doing was just even too stupid to be an AI. But yeah, he definitely did not do well. 851 kills. Myself getting a fair enough kills, but the two opponents definitely just outplayed us straight up. I even had a hard time on my flank. Where's the body count? Yeah, I had a hard enough time on my flank. Maybe I could have, ground out a Pyrrhic victory, but with the support of the Dragoons from Great Britain, that just sealed the deal on my side. Closed it off. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I definitely have more Empire Total War games coming out for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy, and hopefully we'll have more competent allies in the future. But nonetheless, it's fun to see this game in action, win or loss. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we can actually take a look at some unit statistics, see where my kills came out. Yeah, overall okay. Legion of the United States, perhaps not the best unit to bring. They don't seem to be super cost effective. Even the long riflemen maybe bring sparingly. They're not even that great. But, okay, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.